9/11, 2001. We were all attacked that day, and all of our lives changed for the worse, except for the few people who benefited, and they are very few people. The rest of us are still in shock, but you know what? Nobody's paid yet. Nobody has taken responsibility. And no matter what you believe, the United States government is responsible. Not in terms of being guilty of the act itself, but they are responsible, as in responsibility. They need to take responsibility for what happened to us as a result. It was not a hurricane. It was something that could have been stopped by them easily. If their official story is true, then they should all be in prison. We should put them in prison. The more their story is true, the more in trouble they should be. Because if it goes in the other direction, do you know what it means? Those people aren't even government officials. It means they're actors, probably acting with a gun behind their head. They are probably not guilty at all. They were forced to play those parts. If what all you conspiracy theorists are saying is true, George Bush was probably having diarrhea that day, wondering if he was going to be killed. Because it was on national television. It was the biggest broadcast crime of all time. No matter what, somebody has to pay for that. So far, they've gotten away with it. We can stop that. Anybody that had a mutual fund, a 401k, Roth IRA, their savings, and a stock plan, it died. All these people that lost their homes and their jobs, everything was as a result of that. Every woman that is demoralized at the airport by the TSA touching them in their private areas for fun, laughing to themselves, with the woman having no recourse. That is from Michael Chertoff. He put that in place. He wrote the Patriot Act, and he is the man that let the Israelis go. The Israelis that they caught on 9/11. Michael Chertoff let them go. You can start with him. Prosecute Michael Chertoff first, then Larry Silverstein, and then keep going with the usual suspects because they are guilty, even if they didn't plan it. Larry Silverstein's entire family that worked in the towers just didn't show up to work that day, and he's never been subpoenaed for that. Indicted for serious questioning, for all of us to watch, with every kind of truth detector, lie detector. We should prosecute. We should prosecute this. If we prosecute 9/11, we can fix things. We can end all of these taxes and all of this oppression. At the very least, the government owes us. Anybody that lost money on 9/11 is owed money because of 9/11 by the government. You should be able to send in the statement of your stock account the day before and then a statement afterwards and say, you owe me that much money. Because you were having war game drills with all of our best pilots the day of and you just couldn't defend New York. Well, okay, you admitted that much, well, you have to pay. Or maybe you could tell us what really happened. Otherwise, you're going to be brought up on charges and put on trial by a people's trial. Not your phony courts with your bribed judges, by our judges. The United States citizens. We know you're guilty of at least irresponsibility, if not worse. Bottom line, you have to take responsibility. We've even let you all leave your jobs and there's other people in your posts now. I want you prosecuted. I want the president prosecuted. I want the vice president prosecuted. The Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, anybody that should have been doing their job differently that day to prevent it. I want you to pay. All kinds of people that get caught for this warrant or that fine in court, they don't get to leave the court unless they pay. They got to pay even when they can't. Even when they're not guilty, they got to pay. In every city and every state, every day somebody's got to pay for something like that. But the government got away with 9/11. I say we do not let them get away with this at all. Call them back. Demand them back. Put them in jail. Garnish their accounts. Like the IRS garnishes people's bank accounts and stock accounts if they don't pay their taxes. If they don't pay what we demand, and we can make a grand demand of the 50 states of what we need from all the tragedies and all the hurt that we've suffered from because of that event. Not to mention the people killed across the ocean. You have to pay for all of those lives. And we will garnish your lives until you pay. I want you to pay me. I want you to pay my neighbors, my friends, and my family. You owe us, at the very least, an explanation. At the very least, a real investigation. If not your lives. We trust our lives in yours. And you didn't care. You didn't do anything. But stand on a podium and blame people with names you couldn't even pronounce right. Fictitious names. We know it was a lie. We know your story was impossible. You are guilty, and we are tired of having our lives ruined while you get away with it. I want my people to rise up and demand justice for this. It's been too long. They got away with it.